episode 87. Here we go. Let's do it with Cape Breton's own boxing sensation, Ryan Rozicki, and Vancouver's pro athlete, Bryce Gougeon. Let's do it. Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to episode 87, sponsored by our friends over at maritimemadness.com. Check them out. Locally made in PEI, otherwise known as PEI, in Prince Edward Island. 30 flavors. All different kinds of flavor. Check them out. Use the code FLA10. Get some free shipping, save some money, and support businesses that support us. Anyway, it's been a while. It's probably been a week or so since we've done an episode, and we got a fantastic one here, folks. This is a guy that we were supposed to line up last week, and our apologies on that. We kind of messed up a little bit, so thanks for him being a little patient with us and coming back. So, let's get right into it. Two guys that I don't know either one of them really well, but the first guy, I've been following him for a hell of a long time. He's a guy here in Nova Scotia that he's represented the province on numerous occasions boxing, and he's, I don't want to put too much pressure on the guy, and I'm sure he's heard this before, but he's a star in the making. He's got all the right tools, and I'm an MMA guy, but I'm not one of those people that know boxing extremely well. I follow it, and I'm definitely a fan. So I'm really excited to have this guy on. For anybody who doesn't know him, you should start following him. His name's Ryan Rozicki, the Bruiser. An amateur record. He actually kind of put a post up today about it, which was interesting, talking about his amateur record. So I think it was like a 14-9 amateur record, something like that. And I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But now he's 12-0 as a pro. So it's amazing to look at that mindset, that switch. And he was talking about that today. And now he's definitely in the top 20 in the world. And he's WBC silver cruiserweight champion. And he's a Canadian cruiserweight champion. And I guess that's it. There's not too much more I can say. Let's bring him on without further ado, folks. Cape Breton's own, Nova Scotian's own, Ryan Rozicki. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me on.
No, awesome. Thanks again for joining us, man. It's been a while. Like I said, I've been a fan for a while. So, man, it's COVID's been an interesting thing. How are you dealing with it? I see you're at the gym there now. You're at the gym still training?
Oh, yeah. I'm lucky enough. My dad owns the gym here in Cape Breton, so I'm able to come in and get some work in every day.
Nice. Yeah, I know that's big for you, and being outdoors is a big thing for you too. Have you been able to kind of stay outdoors, keeping up with the fishing and the hunting?
A little bit, doing a little bit here and there. Yeah, it's right now. It's summer, so
no hunting,
but fishing. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of fishing. Yeah, you're in a beautiful area down there in Cape Breton. Like I said before, I'm a Pictou County boy, so it's not too far from me. But I wanted to ask you right away, like, how did you get into boxing? I know you turned pro at 21, but you started at 15. Like, is that because of your dad? Like, was it something that, you just kind of were born into it?
I was definitely born into fighting. Like, I had a couple uncles that were very well-known street fighters. So I was always like growing up around them and seeing them with black eyes and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I ended up getting into fighting myself, like street fighting quite a bit. And then that led me into trouble on the wrong side of the law. Then that led me into boxing.
Okay, interesting.
Try to stay in trouble.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? It does a lot of that for a lot of people in our sport, myself. And for me, I use it as an outlet for myself for, mental health. It's a big thing. I don't go and box by any means. Like like I said, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, but it's a little bit different. You're not getting punched in the face. So so boxing for you, it's interesting. The whole aspect of you is, I always found people always say about, how it's for you, it's like your will to win. It's not necessarily about your chin. It's not necessarily about your punches, your power. It's about your will to win. Like, where's that come from?
I think that's kind of something you're born with, I think.
Yeah.
And then also I put my back up against the wall. Like, I gave myself no other option in life. So like I left school. I left high school to box. I left work to box. I left everything just to try to make one run at it. So I mean, when you like eliminate all other options in life and your only option is to become a successful fighter, like it gives you some grit in there for sure.
Yeah, true enough. I guess that makes sense. I guess it's like you say, your back's up against the wall, so it's either fuck it, do it or don't, right?
Yeah.
And you certainly look the part too, man. When you get in there, the pictures. I got to give credit to Three Lions. Like they do an incredible job in yourself. The promotion looks fantastic. The media looks great, and the fights also look good. Not good, just great too. But you're like you look the part, man. Like you really you're humble, but you also it's just kind of one of those things. Like that switch goes off, right? And it's like I'm here for whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, for sure. No, they're doing a very good job. Yeah.
Yeah, is that something? It's interesting because in boxing and MMA are a little bit different in that regard. Well, as you know, obviously, a boxing promoters kind of work with the individual fighters a little bit more, and at our level in MMA, it just isn't there yet. But what's your interest in MMA down the line?
I actually thought recently about doing an MMA fight. Like I put up some videos of me like working on ground and pound and some pathetic little kicks. Like my kicks are pathetic, but but I think there's potential there to work on them, right?
I'm sure there is. That's the scary part. That's the thing. Like a guy like you, anybody who's a super athlete like yourself, it doesn't take long, right?
No,
like
I'm a sponge too. So like if it wouldn't take me long to get a decent enough ground game to get me back to my feet.
Yeah.
Maybe some defense against takedowns, leg kicks. Obviously, leg kicks are the number one thing that would be used against me. So I'd have to get a good leg kick defense, things like that, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, you have goals in boxing. That's the number one thing. But it's interesting for you because you can kind of, I'm sure, between the two, I'm sure you could kind of switch between the two if you really wanted to.
I will. It's on my bucket list. I'm gonna have to do an MMA fight. Like I got it nice. At some point. Before I'm 30, I will get in the cage.
Nice, awesome. Well, that's 5 years. You're still super young, so it's
lots of time.
Tons of time. What's it like for you? Like I know from myself as a promoter, like putting on events in Nova Scotia and Truro. I'm from Pictou, but Truro was pretty close. It was a really cool experience for me. We did a pretty good number. Your both events are like you guys have just destroyed the numbers. Have really done a fantastic job. That must feel really great for yourself and your team around you to be like, man, look at us. We did it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a good feeling. Like remember the walkout. My last fight and my second last fight, both here. Usually I'm pretty zoned in on the other guy, like just get into the ring, get into the fight. But like I had to take a second to look around, be like, holy, the people here, right? It's pretty cool.
That is cool, and I don't want to sound cocky on your behalf, but probably 80% of those people are there for you, right?
I think so, yeah. Little bit there want to see me lose, but that's okay. You need them too.
You definitely do, man. That's part of it. It's if you don't have haters, you're not being successful. It's fuck those keyboard warriors and those assholes sitting at home like those whatever. Let them talk.
We need them. We need them to There's got to be some conflict with the fans and the haters. Like that's all part of it.
That's it. Did you ever watch? Because boxing and MMA, combat sports, there's showmanship, obviously, right? And you do a little bit of that in the cage, or in the ring. But you're like, I don't think like for you, it's just one of those things. Like you're just like you're in the zone, man, and it's an incredible thing to watch somebody that's in that zone.
Yeah, I think I'm probably a bit of a rare breed in that case. Like different kind of mindset going in there than probably 99% of fighters, cage or ring.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like at the end of the day, like you see those people. Like there's those rare breeds like yourself who at the end of the day, like they can just keep taking it. You're getting like Gavin was another example in his fight too. And like you're gonna pretty much have to kill that person to finish them.
Yeah, he's the same kind of guy for sure.
Yeah, he really is, man. He's just a fighter's fighter, I guess, when you say it that way. Who's someone, Ryan, that's like a mentor to you? Who's someone that's kind of been there your whole life and also recently that's kind of helped you get to that next level where you are now?
Honestly, before I really got into boxing, I had an uncle, like I said, I had some family members. One uncle in particular was like a real serious fighter, so I always looked up to him. Like he would still to this day whoop my ass for sure.
Wow, Jesus.
Yeah, one tough dude. So like the way he fought, the way like he was kind of like you'd have to kill him to beat him kind of guy. He had some real good fights outside the ring or the cage. But and then once I started getting into boxing, Jack Dempsey became my boxing mentor. I just watched Jack Dempsey tapes before fights and get fired up.
Yeah, it's important to have those people, right? People that are going to be positive in your life, that are like, okay, they're gonna, my brain's going to switch on in that positive, and then my muscle memory is going to take over, and then there's those. I guess as a pro athlete, better than I do what the root and the structures are, to it. And I'm always amazed at that as a pro athlete, and how many, like, it's so much memory to it, so much drilling to it, like. How many days, how many hours, like you sit there and hit that pad, or run or whatever? Like, what's a daily life for you now? A day in the life for you now, and then a day in the life for you during camp.
Little different. So basically, everything I do in camp, I still do now, but in camp, basically double it. Like when I don't got a fight lined up, I'm in the gym once, maybe twice a day. I'll put one hard day in, which is probably like 2 hours, roughly 2 hours, about 24 rounds of bag work.
Yeah.
But in camp, like double that and add a run. So it's like it's crazy.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's the thing. I follow your workouts, and just like I'm just watching you hit the bag sometimes. It's just like Jesus Christ, like it's incredible. And then like that last fight, we actually had our event the week before yours. So we I really wanted to go, but it was just like after what it's like after an event where you're like, well, you know what it's like for fighting, but for me it'd be worse fighting than it would be promoting, obviously. But I certainly didn't want to drive. But the videos that I saw were ridiculous, man. That finish was what was your kind of lead up to that? Like you said, you were kind of a little bit focused on the crowd more so. Did it affect you? I know that I believe it was the fight before the Sean Miller fight. You kind of had a little adversity you went through, but this last fight, anything?
Well, that was after it was the Miller fight. Then I fought the Russian. That was the one that was I got my eye socket broken.
That Kiteg Pilev. He's a MMA guy too, right?
Yeah, I think he was 5-1 in MMA. His only loss was an injury or something. He tore his bicep, so he's an undefeated fighter.
Ridiculously, that's not a word. Ridiculous fight. In that round that you posted too was just disgusting. Like, man, what's the plan when you get into those? Like, do you actually reset? You're like, okay, or are you just that guy who's like, okay, I'm confident. I'm willing to take this where it needs to go.
Well, that fight there was a plan, but it all kind of went out the window in the second round when he opened up. I was basically knocked out on my feet after a right hand he hit me with, and then like instincts took over. I guess that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
I call it my alter ego taking over, but other people might call it instincts and heart, whatever you want to call it. It's like you go to a dark place, and then some people they can't really get to that place. Some people take a knee or whatever, but.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I guess that I don't like. I'm always amazed. I guess going back to those people who write, like we were talking about the people who chirp and that kind of stuff earlier, and then like go do 3 minutes. Go do 3 minutes punching the bag. Not even someone punching your back.
Just take one shot from a 200-pound professional killer.
You will shit your pants. Legit.
Yeah. After you die.
Yeah, exactly. It's true, man. It's true. Where's Edwin Dutai?
You need them, you need them keyboard people and whatnot.
Yeah, Cape Breton really supports you, though, man. Like they certainly come out, and I think you'd have the same support up here if you did an event too. I think, like I don't know what Three Lines plans are in the future, but it's. I think you're like you say, you can probably. You're marketable in Ontario for sure. Like you do really well up there too, and I think the sky's the limit for you. Like I know you were supposed to fight in June, right? Is that still kind of on the docket, or?
Well, I think the next one now is September. Everything keeps getting pushed back with COVID, but right now I'm looking at September.
Nice. Anywhere, any location here?
It won't be in Nova Scotia because the Nova Scotia I think they're basically shut boxing down until 2021, for as far as I know. So it'll be somewhere's out Edmonton, Alberta, somewhere's like that.
Nice, good. Yeah, we put in a huge proposal as well to get events going, and they kaput, unfortunately. So it is what it is, man. But that's important for you to get back in there and get a scrap and get the rust off, I guess. What's the biggest? I get from being a Pickler County guy. I don't know Brody really well. He's a little bit younger than me, but like both you guys, the boxing scene itself has seemed to really kind of pick up in the last little bit. What's been the biggest difference in that?
I don't really know, to be honest. I think it's just the more pretty exciting fighters coming up.
Yeah.
As far as Cape Breton, it's like there hasn't been a professional boxer here in I don't know how many years. So when I turned pro, it's kind of like a new thing, like a big deal. There's going to be pro boxing events, and it was just new to the scene, right?
Yeah, that's true. But really, really well done. That's the thing, like you can have these events that if it's not a really fun experience for the spectator, it's hard for them to come back. But you guys have all been doing a really, really, really good job. And that's crazy to fight and promote. Like bananas to me.
Yeah, but my promoters, they'll take care of a lot of it. Basically, all I do is like I train, fight, and I mean I help out a little bit with the promotion, like promote myself and go around, But for the most part, they're doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
On that, yeah. Brody, I think Brody, Brandon Brewer, those guys are crazy because they were doing a lot of the promotion and fighting, like way more of the promoting than I'm doing here. So credit to you guys.
Big time. Yeah, and that's a credit to all of you guys kind of working together to get the scene going again. And there's other people involved in the scene too, but it's important. Combat sports it has a place here, and it has a massive history, especially boxing in Nova Scotia. And it's certainly not going anywhere. So the quicker we can get back to it, the better, right? Whether we have to do it in a safe way with nobody in the venue or what, right? Does RR have a dream venue to fight at besides Center 200? I don't know.
Madison Square Garden. What boxer doesn't want to fight in Madison Square Garden?
There you go. Yeah, that's a great answer.
It'd be super cool.
Let's make it happen. 3 Lions, make it happen. I'm sure it will happen.
It'll happen, yeah.
Yeah, is that that's the thing. Like every fighter, every person that's going to be a champion, I'm sure you have that kind of roots in your mind. What's something that you've you talk about toughest fights. What's, I guess, a fight that, surprised you the most?
There are so many of them. I think my best fight, toughest fight was the one against Katag. That was a crazy fight. Like the places I had to go to win that fight, and like just mentally and physically. I mean, yeah, physically, but more mentally. That was like I overcame a lot in that fight.
So what's a Ryan Rozicki after that fight, after he wins, after everyone's cleared out of the venue, and you're sitting there by yourself for that moment, that first time that you're by yourself? Like what's the moment? Like what's the thought process in your mind? Like
that fight there, it was just a huge feeling of accomplishment because all like my amateur career. I mean, that was the first time I faced adversity as a pro, but in the amateurs, I faced lots of adversity because I fought a lot of serious fighters, the best in Canada, some of the best in the world. So like I was in over my head quite a bit in the amateurs. So whenever it would get real tough, not that I would ever quit. I never quit, but I would almost accept losing and accept that I can't beat this guy. I would stay in there and I would give it a tough fight, but I would be okay with just giving him a tough fight. You know what I mean? Whoever it was. But in that fight, the pro, like I told myself when I turned pro, there's no more of that. From now on, it's I'm here to win. And that's it. No other option. So when that fight there with the Russian, like when it got tough, that came up in my mind again. It was like, you can you get to the end of the round, they're going to stop the fight, and it was a good fight, whatever. But that something else took over, and it was like, no, you're gonna win the fight, win it right now, knock
Nice.
this guy out, and it was simple as that. And then so when I overcame that little wall, like now it's almost like I know I can do it, right?
Yeah. So that must have been an incredible moment for you. Like after all those fights, all that amateur career, all that adversity, to be sitting there by yourself, to be just like, like, yeah, you know, like that's a cool moment, man. I'm really happy for you that you can get that success, and I think as Nova Scotians, everybody can be pretty proud and behind you for what you've accomplished. And so, I guess one last question for you here, for young athletes, you know, boxing, combat sports related, you know, not combat sports often kind of gets a shitty bad rap. You know, anybody who's kind of getting into this sport, any advice for them, and kind of how they can get to a level of where you guys are?
Even if you're not going to get to, you know, the high level, at least like challenge yourself and just see how far you can take it. Even if you go have an amateur career of, you know, 0 wins or 1 win and 20 losses, who cares? Like, as long as you go in there and you see what you can do, you see what you're made of, at least, you know, try it out. And it can teach you a lot of discipline, especially, you know, outside the ring and stuff. I mean, everybody knows I've had my fair share of hiccups, or whatever you want to call it, outside the ring. But at the end of the day, compared to what it would be if I didn't find boxing, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. There's no question about that. I'm not perfect, but boxing definitely helped quite a bit. So boxing, MMA, whatever it might be, it can really teach you discipline. That's for sure.
I love that. I love that. It's very true. You know, it can take you as far as you want it to go, I guess, too. Like the more disciplined, the more focused you are, you know, you with the right talent, with the right people around you, they can get to the level you're at. And it's cool to see. What's the scene like for you in Cape Breton? Is there? I know, you know, I know lots of the guys in Cape Breton, but you know, what's the scene for you? Are there lots of kids that are kind of following your footsteps?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds. Like, I got a huge, like, most of my following here is kids.
Nice.
To be honest with you, like
awesome.
80% of them are kids, and they kind of look at me as like a superhero or something.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. You know, whenever I get the chance to talk to them and, you know, try to guide them best I can in the right direction. But yeah, most of the following. Cool.
Good for you. That's important. You know, at the end of the day, that's the future, right? And that's really cool. And I guess that's another thing for you. Like you're proud of yourself, but when you leave that ring and you're on the way back, I'm sure there's some faces that you see that you're like, wow, like I am a superhero to that kid.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
yeah, it is. Well, keep up the fight, man. Keep up the good work. You know, from our end of things, we're really proud of what you've done. You know, 12-0 as a pro, and I think it's just the beginning for you. You know, you got big fans on Fight the Atlantic side, and if and when you ever want to step in the cage, we'd be honored, obviously, to do it here. But whatever we can help with you. Shout out to Three Lines Promotions and Daniel Otter doing a fantastic job with yourself and your team. And anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Probably just my coach, Stevie Bailey. Like he's been helping me a long way in my style, bringing it along.
Nice.
Rudy, I've actually been in the gym here with old trainer. His name's Rudy Plitchie. So any old time fighters in Nova Scotia would know who Rudy Plitchie is. He was he trained like all the Canadian champions from Cape Breton. All
wow.
of them. So yeah, it's an honor. He's 86 years old. He's in here today holding the hand pads for me.
Wow.
Like telling me to hit the starter. He's telling me, burn it. Like, oh yeah. Crazy.
That you guys, that's a really good promotional video for you guys too. That's awesome. It's somebody like that, like the amount of experience and wealth of knowledge to have in your corner. Good for you. You're only going to get better.
Yeah, well, I appreciate being on.
Yeah, of course.
Means a lot.
Anytime, and again, anything we can do from our end. There you have it, folks. The man himself, Cape Breton sensation, Canadian sensation, boxer extraordinaire, Mr. Ryan Rozicki. Thanks for joining us, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Have a good one, man.
You too. All right, great. What a great guy. Fantastic interview with our man there. As I said, from Cape Breton, Mr. Ryan Rozicki. This episode, folks, episode 87, is brought to you by our friends at Maritime Madness. Check them out, maritimemadness.com. Use the code FLA10, and you can save 10% and get free shipping. in Canada. Great products, over 30 different flavors made locally in PEI. I did that all while typing. The ADHD is getting under control, folks. Look at me go. We got a good episode. To finish off, we actually have a fantastic interview here. Bryce, I don't want to butcher his name. You know, I'm just going to call him Bryce G. We're going to go that way. But it's Gougeon. I'm going to go that way with I'm the East Coast, so I think I have a little bit of ability to throw that French, dialogue in. So we'll go with Bryce Gougeon. He's 1 and 2 as a pro, a really, really great athlete outside. He's in Vancouver, out in BC. His amateur career, I don't know what, 5 and 4 as an amateur. This guy's into a lot of different things outside of fighting. He's kind of one of those guys that you look at and you're like, he really likes adventure things, adventure sports, you know, whether it's biking or getting out. You know, I follow his Instagram. I've been following him for a while. He's super talented as an athlete, and he's really changed his game from an amateur into a pro. He's fought a lot on the West Coast. He's been involved in the scene for a hell of a long time out in the West Coast, for over 10 years. He recently just fought for Prospect FC, Jamie Champion in Ontario. Took a loss against a really, really great fight. You know, for Bryce, I know he's going to look for improvements coming out of that fight, but we'll talk to him about that and talk to him, you know, about the guidance that he's had through his career and the transition from amateur to pro, and I guess all that other stuff, training in Thailand. And without further ado, I guess we'll segue right into it, Mr. Bryce Gougeon.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, man? How's things?
Good.
I didn't do too bad?
Yeah, they're doing good, besides, you know, all the COVID stuff, but I'm still moving along, slow, steady pace, but going along.
Still training, keeping busy?
Yeah, still training every day. I kept pretty busy throughout the whole thing. I just, you know, had just worked with my main coach through the whole thing, Dennis Gang, and I obviously did a lot of stuff by myself and just tried to keep myself motivated. Right now it's hard for a lot of the athletes because everything seems sort of like on pause unless you're in like the big leagues. So
yeah, that's the thing, you know. I guess even in the big leagues, some fighters I think are kind of like just out of the mix, right? So it's interesting for you. Like you fought in March, I believe, like March.
Yeah. It was mid-March. I was pretty lucky because right when I flew back from Montreal, everything closed the week after.
Yeah.
So I was pretty lucky. Like the fight didn't go my way, but I was happy that I at least got a fight in before it all hit.
Yeah.
So I was still in pretty good shape. So it wasn't too bad for me to stay in shape through the whole thing. I just sort of kept treating it like it was a fight camp. Like, okay, 8 weeks. Let's see how long this quarantine lasts. I'm just going to keep eating, you know, keep sort of treating it like it's like a camp a little bit.
Yeah. What did you think about that whole experience? You know, like fighting for Prospect. It looked like a fantastic event.
I really liked Prospect. You know, they put on an amazing show. They're really good guys, and I would definitely love to fight for them again in the future. And I know they wanted to have me on their next show, but it was in May, and that never happened. Yeah. And I'm assuming there's just not going to be very many shows until 2021. Now it seems like.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw there was one promotion I saw looking to put one on there, but I don't know. It's all amateur. I'm not sure, but. We had another meeting with a different commission last week, so fingers crossed. We'll see what happens, but you know, I think it's like you said, it's going to be 2021. I think, unless you're doing them in your backyard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm at the point right now where, you know, it is starting to get to me a little bit because it feels like you just have no direction.
Yeah.
But staying pretty motivated, and I'm at the point where I'm debating whether or not to leave Canada and look for a fight if I have to, right? So I've gone outside of Canada before looking, so I'm willing to, like, that's the thing, I'm willing to fight places where it's not my hometown, right? And I feel a lot of fighters should venture out to grow as a fighter. So
I couldn't agree more, and I know that like you were very, very good in dealing with us. Like you offered up to fight quite a few times for us, and it didn't come to fruition. But I think it's something, like you said, it probably will happen in the future. And because you're one of those people that you just want to expose yourself to different situations to make yourself grow, make yourself better. And as a fighter, I'm always shocked at fighters who don't want to do that because I'm like, you're a fighter.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that what you want to do, is grow and try to learn? Like, I get it. You have to be safe at the same time, but like, you're under guidance. Like, look at Dennis Kang. Like, he's a UFC, he's Canadian.
The thing about what I love about MMA is, the one thing I love about it is able to train, meet new people, and able to fight different areas than where you live. That's one reason why I still do it.
Yeah.
So to be able to experience stuff in other cities, I still love doing it. It's one of my favorite parts about it.
Different cultures, experiences.
Yeah.
Sure, man. No, I couldn't agree more. It's the BC scene. Obviously, it's like I said, you've been involved for a hell of a long time out there. It's a pretty busy scene.
Yeah.
You got BFL, you got Rise, you have who else you got out there?
Mostly just BFL and Rise right now. I fought for BFL 1 when my amateur career.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Yeah. Been sort of at it for a while, but it took me a long time to make the plunge to professional.
Yeah.
Because at the same time when I was an amateur, I was also getting a career and like a trade. I was building that up too. So I was trying to do it all at once at that time. And then I got to a certain age, because I didn't start till like 24. So I was a lot older than a lot of people. So most of the people that I'm training with that are at a really high level are all like 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So
disgusting, isn't it?
I don't mind it. I didn't start till later, and I don't feel.
No, you look great.
Old,
so. No, you don't look out of place. That's for sure.
Yeah. And as the last 2 years when I really started to feel really good, and it's when I met my conditioning coach, Ibby, and he really transformed my body. And because I was getting to a point, you start to get you start to get a lot of injuries, and injuries start affecting everything. And my shoulder was starting to hurt. I couldn't sleep on my shoulder. I had like knee issues. I had like all sorts of little things you get with martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
And now I realized as I got to a certain age is you have to be a lot smarter how you train. You can't just go in there and just 100% every day. You have to have like a system. Yeah. And I feel like I've developed a pretty good system for me. Everybody's different. Everybody's body will be different. And my conditioning coach has really kept me just sports specific for my body. And ever since I've been seeing him, I don't think I'd be able to still keep up the pace. Obviously, you still guys drill, do all the martial arts stuff, but you have to do everything. You have to do everything.
I noticed that, like, I'm 39, I'm a brown belt, and like I noticed that a lot for training, if you got to take care of yourself or you're injuries. That's where Ibby Ali, if I'm correct. I follow him, and I see him doing a lot of really fantastic things out there. And it's interesting that you say that, how important it really is, because like as you get older, you notice it. And like, what was something that you like maybe not noticed right away, but like overall that like he changed for you? Oh, well, I noticed, like, I don't know if this makes sense, but I noticed when I first started, I was just doing a lot of just martial arts. Yeah. And I was a naturally like thicker dude. So I had good genetics. I was naturally thicker, but my body and my it started to break down a little bit. And when I saw him the first like 2-3 months, my body just started transforming. I felt like my natural hormones felt better. Like everything just felt balanced. I had interesting. Yeah, it was weird. It was like you have to like it's like a mixture. You have to have a certain amount of everything. It's like it's like to be older and still compete at a high level, you have to do a lot. So that's, I get envious of some of the young guys I see come in and they're just like balls to the wall and all right. And me, I have to be a little bit more smarter, right? Yeah. I gotta, but I like it. I'm smarter the way I train. As soon as I started treating my recovery just as important as I did my training, I started to go through the roof. So yeah, it's interesting you say that, because it's like off the mats is so important. Yeah. It's like anything else. And like you look at, like, if you look at a pro athlete, like for example, a hockey team. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if you know any pro hockey athletes out here. We have a couple, and you hear the stories of it's like what they're treated like when they get in. And it's like, okay, here's the guy who's going to teach you how to speak. Here's the person who's looking after your money. Here's the person, blah blah blah. Here you're going to sit down. You're going to watch this tape every day from 3 to 4. You're going to practice from this. It's really scheduled, and you're a professional athlete, right? And that's the repercussions come from that hard work. And it's like you say. It's the hard work, man. It's the fruits of your labor, for sure. Yeah. And it's a real good feeling when you're in the fight camp.
you're grinding on the days you have to, and you have like a system. You come back, you're like, okay, I got to do an ice bath after today. I gotta have my like massage gun. I gotta get this checked out, and you have a whole system that you do it. So it consumes your life when you're in it. But I get a rush off that. I feel good off it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's either consumes your life or, the repercussions can suck bad too, right? So it's important that at the end of the day, if you're fighting, if you're not looking after that 1% advantage, then that person across the cage is.
Yeah.
So we're in the fight game. So speaking of which, one thing I wanted to cover other than the nutrition with Ibby is the, like you spent a lot of time at TriStar in Montreal. But also in Thailand, like we said earlier about getting all those different looks. What was something that was a big thing from, not just getting from Thailand, but also why did you go?
Yeah, I went specifically for training. That was my main purpose. I went out there, and I just wanted to experience the lifestyle of like training somewhere like tropical and be able to train every day and just do like. It was my first real trip, sort of, that I went on, and I planned it. I was thinking about it for years, and I finally did it. And I was so happy I did it because the guys out there are amazing, very good people. The Hickman brothers run the MMA program out there, and they've been putting out champions now. Like since from when I first went there, now there's like 3 guys that have belts out of that gym now. So they're doing something right there. Yeah. So it's you go there and there's so many people go through that gym. Like you get in on the MMA days there, and there's like they can't have everybody spar at the same time because there's so many people. You have to have like certain weight classes on, and when that runs down, the other weight classes go on.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good gym, good people. And I would definitely go back there. And I'd recommend if anybody ever wants to try a travel trip training, recommendation, if you want to go somewhere tropical, Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, amazing, or in Montreal. And that's still till this day is still one of the best gyms in the world. The high level there is amazing.
It really is. It's I haven't sparred there, obviously, but I've been there and I've rolled and experienced it, and it's a beautiful thing. It for sure is TriStar. And now back in the day, we did a lot of submission only events called Sub Series Pro, and we had a ton of those guys like Taza and Ethan and I guess Jonathan Goulet. I don't know who else came from TriStar. I think that was it at one point, but like what Taz and Ethan are doing on the jiu-jitsu circuit. So but the between that, the MMA is ridiculous there, right? Like big sparring rounds for a lot of people go there for the open.
Oh yeah, and the guys there, it's just it's fun because you're sparring and you're like hanging out with your buddies. Nice. And if you like to train hard and you're a good person, you fit right in there. It's just the way the gym is.
That's what it's about.
That's what, and this is from a sparring round.
Who's that compliments of?
Kevin Lee sort of knocked that one out. So
wonderful.
Yeah. So I haven't had a chance to get it fixed yet. Everything was closed, but hopefully it'll be fixed soon. So I'm not looking like the toothless guy here.
Kevin Lee. I hope he actually had surgery too. I think too.
Yeah. He's a good sparring partner. There's a lot of guys out there, and my last camp was probably the toughest camp I ever did. And it was, for me, I think I overtrained a little bit because I enjoy training, and that's my problem is sometimes I do too much.
Makes sense.
So, and then a few adjustments I have to make too, right, for the next one. But it's all worked out now. I've been working with Dennis, and the next fight, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing, I guess. At the end of the day, you can win, lose, or learn.
Yeah.
So two people go in and one person has to lose. It's just the way it is, So there's no other person to put that fault on. There's no other. You look at Kelvin last night who lost with a heel hook.
Yeah,
that's a hard pill to swallow. And that heel hook wasn't even in deep.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
just a reaction. Probably he's probably beating himself up a little bit about
that's what I'm saying, right? Like that's a hard pill to swallow for like a really high level fighter, and it's who's coming off another hard loss too. But at the end of the day, like Jesus, who's anybody to question you?
No, yeah, he's competing at the highest level. You just get back in there, and
that's it.
That's all I'm going to do is just keep getting back in there and keep improving. And
good for you.
It was, I've been working the last few years. I've been really working on my style a bit more because I had issues when I was an amateur. I used to just go in there and go a little too hard all the time. So I really worked on my breathing, really been focused on my breathing because there's a certain technique in MMA with breathing. Breathing is so important. If you're focused on your breathing, and all the high guys know, everybody should know this who does MMA. And the thing is, for me, is I always tried to work on being relaxed, right? Relaxed. And that's the one problem. My last fight, I was a little too relaxed, a little too. Now I got to like pick it up a little notch. So that's like my little, that's something I've been working on. Like, I'm good now. I'm relaxed. Now I'm like, you focus on one thing too much. Sometimes the too much happens. So
find that balance, I guess,
Yeah.
Like you said, like there's so much time left for you, like it's at the end of the day, like you probably got quite a few fights left in you. And
I've never had a concussion. I've never had, I broke my hand in a fight once. That's it. I've never had any bad real injuries. I've been very lucky. My body's been treating me very well, but I treat my body well. So I'm gonna go as long as I can. I'm not gonna stop unless my body tells me I need to stop. But I don't think it's gonna be for a while.
Good for you. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you about, like a kind of segue from fighting. Like I said, you're involved. You look like one of these people who really kind of like adventure things. And when I consider adventure, I guess maybe it's just motorbikes. I don't know. I know you're super involved with the motorbikes and you couldn't live in a more beautiful province for that kind of stuff. I see some of your posts and I'm very, very jealous.
I worked when I was in my amateur career. I worked my ass off. I was working full time plus fighting full time, and I went to school, got at my Red Seal journeyman, and I eventually started running big contracting jobs.
Good for you! Wow.
And then I ended up buying a place, so I forced myself to have certain investments.
Smart.
And then when I wanted to do pro, I obviously quit everything, and my girlfriend obviously helps with that too. And then that's why I bought a Harley. I had was a treat to myself, and I worked my ass off for like over 10, 12 years. I bought myself a Harley, and I've been enjoying it every day this summer. Going around, riding every day. I got a bunch of buddies. I was the last guy in my friends to get one. So it's like,
I see your crew that you guys kind of like just ride around with, and just it's a wonderful thing, especially in martial arts. Martial arts, as in a fighter, the shit can consume you. Really consume your whole life. And getting out and being social and doing stuff outside the gym, getting outside, it's a really important thing.
It took me a long time to figure out that balance. I used to be, I had when my earlier career, I used to just MMA, all focused. Friends would ask me to do stuff. I'd be like, I can't, I'm busy. And it consumed me. And, it's sometimes when you do that too much, it takes the fun out of it a little bit. So after a while, I had to learn how to balance and everything. Everything needs balance. And now I'm starting to feel at a pretty good balance now. I got to make sure I do fun stuff sometimes, and I still train every day. So it's like,
it's so important. At the end of the day, if you're not doing something to make you enjoy life, I struggle with that a lot with this emotion kind of shit, like letting it consume me. And I've in the last probably probably 2 years, I've really gotten better at it. Like just kind of walking away and being like, I don't give a shit if you like me or not. That kind of thing, right? Like you just can't let it bother you.
I've had so many people over the years, the naysayers, the naysayers. Everybody knows the naysayers, especially because I'm older, right?
Big time.
Oh, you're still doing this? You lost quite a bit of fights. I have all this, and it's usually the people I know. A lot of the people I know that are like that are people that used to do martial arts and they're my age and they sort of quit. So they're like, they sort of quit.
A little bit of jealousy there, I think.
So I try not to listen to those people. No one should ever listen to those. If you have a path and you want to do it and it makes you happy, do it.
Couldn't agree more. At the end of the day, it's like you sit there and you stress over certain things, and look what's going on right now with COVID. Like you can't predict anything. You can't legit predict anything. So you really should enjoy life like it is your last. And do things like you do. Like get out there and live your life, and and especially for you, I'm always amazed at people who have that attitude after having so many goddamn canceled fights in their career. You've had a really kind of rough go with that.
You know what? It happens. Like, yeah, because my last fight prospect, I think I had like two training camps before I got that fight.
Yeah.
Trying to find one. But you know what? I'm sort of getting used to it. But I think I have a feeling as I get a little more fights, it might be a little bit better, a little easier. I'm hoping, I'm praying that'll be. Yeah. But I'm hungry. So if I can't find a fight, I hustle to find myself a fight. Like I will hustle. I'll get my management team to hustle for me. I'll go out there and I'll keep trying. Like I'll be like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'll fly myself to where your event is and fight.
I'll tell you, man. Like, so we probably have our registration, like a fighters is probably 300 right now.
Yeah.
Like of people who are looking to fight. And I would say at least 50 to 100 of them are pros who will get here for free if we can put on an event to fight, because people want opportunities. And if you can put on a really good platform, but it's one of those hard mix. Like, I think about it a lot, like with this whole fighter pay thing, because I think about that and I'm like, fighting for free is not doing good for anybody.
Yeah.
But it's also like, because there's like us as a promotion, we'd never be like, yeah, you're fighting for free, or whatever, cheap. We just couldn't do that. But I'm sure there are people that would.
Oh yeah, like for me, if all I cared about was the money, I would have gave up a long time ago.
Yeah.
But you want to build your brand, you want to build yourself up. That's why so many fighters are devoted to do that, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming they are.
No, it is. I think everybody wants that shot. They want to get to that level of and there's only so many opportunities in the country, let alone in your province, right?
Yeah.
And if you we had a promoters roundtable last week with Jamie Champion from Prospect, Lee Mean.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Great guys like Lee Mean from Rumble, and then Adam Lorenz and from Modern FC in Saskatoon, and just kind of, it would be nice if every promoter can kind of work together and make it's goddamn impossible. It's never going to happen, but you never know.
Yeah.
But it's if you can make like an actual schedule where fighters could be like, okay, in January I'm fighting here, in March I'm fighting here, in June I'm fighting here. Like if you like the PFL has a really. I always think about this, like a fighter, if like even in the UFC could do it. If you had like 0 to 4 fights, your first contract is like $100,000.
Yeah,
or whatever it happens to be. You get $100,000 a year. You fight 4 times in the year.
Yeah,
or whatever.
They're at a point now where all this, with the COVID stuff, they need to start figuring something out, because all the small guys like you guys that had work off of having the events, having people there. Yeah. We're in for like something where it's going to be different now. We got to figure. It's got to figure something out. Like, I'm hoping that it'll get back, but who knows what's going to happen? Who knows?
That's the thing. Like, we have kind of other ideas that we're looking at to get around it if we're not allowed to put on fights. There's something else we're thinking about, but it's. I don't want to get into it too much, but
no. We'll be here all day talking about
it. Like, for somebody to negate you to run your business is a frustrating thing, but at the end of the day, they're the government and they're regulated for a reason for safety, right? So they know better than us. We're just a bunch of meatheads trying to put on a fight.
And one thing I did notice, being Canadian, is when this whole stuff hit, you got to be happy that you're Canadian, seeing how we got taken care of.
Man, I'm blown away, actually. Like, I have nothing bad to say about the government in one way, shape, or another. Like, I think it's not an easy position to be in.
No.
Really tough position to be in here. And in Nova Scotia here, we've had another really, we had a tragedy in March, the mass shooting here that happened too. So with that, and then the helicopter that crashed, it's just been a terrible year for our country. Like, out in the Maritimes, we've now Nova Scotia, I think we've had like 1 case in the last probably like 3 weeks.
That's good.
Maybe.
Good.
So people are listening. People are doing what, like you say, doing their part. Like, no one's fighting and being an asshole to one another. And if I have to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask to go to the grocery store, right? So
do what you need to do.
That's right, man. Well, before I let you go, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I've been meaning to talk to you and chat with you for a while, and hopefully we can get you on a future card. And
I love it.
Yeah,
it's on a show.
The East Coast, baby. We'll get you. For anybody who's, what's a moment, ask everybody what's like advice for young kids, but what's something for you that's like a memorable moment, like that really kind of drives you every day where you're like, I love this. This is why I do this.
Oh, for me, I was actually struggling with that for a bit, and then when this whole COVID thing hit, when everything was taken away from me, is what really showed me why I love it, why I do this. I love just the lifestyle. I love being in shape. I love training with all your buddies. I love just everything about it. And for like a young person, it's probably one of the best things for you. I think every parent should get their kid into some sort of martial arts. It just teaches you like there's a point in my life where I was going one direction, and I always will remember this point. It's a crossroads. Everybody hits crossroads where they decided to go one way, it would change their whole life. I decided to go this way, it changed my life. So I always remember when I first started martial arts, it's going to be a crossroad in my whole life that I'll always never forget. And the same thing could be for, parents out there to get their kids into it. Like it just teaches them so many things you can use in regular life. You don't have to be a high pro athlete to be happy doing martial arts. Everything, it helps me with so many other life stuff. I couldn't imagine myself not doing any martial arts. Even when I'm done fighting, I'm going to be doing it for life. I'm not just like done fighting, then done martial arts. It's in me now forever. So
very, very well said. And I couldn't agree more. As you were talking, I was thinking about the Stuart Cooper video, like martial arts, jiu-jitsu, it's your way of life. And it's very true. Once it's in you, and it's like your friends become friends of like people who you train with, and those friends of friends. And it's hard to kind of think of life doing anything else, man. So I love hearing that. There's nothing better in life than someone who's happy. Yeah. And, you can tell that a lot from your social media, the way you can handle yourself. And, I think that's an incredible thing that young fighters should also look up to, and be that role model, be that good person, and, be positive. At the end of the day, we have one goddamn life to live. So enjoy it and be kind to one another. Right. So awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Where can everybody find you online, Bryce?
Bryce Gougeon, MMA. Nice. _MMA. Bryce Gougeon _MMA.
Bryce Gougeon _MMA. And what about any shout outs you want to give out to
just the guys and my coach Dennis, my wrestling coach Nick, he's been with me in the beginning, Ibby, my conditioning coach, all the guys in Montreal, Faraz, Sandro, Kajan, all my team, even everybody that's helped me. Nice. I could shout out all day for the people that I appreciate.
No worries. Well, it gets hard throughout the whole 15 years or however long you've been training. It gets hard to who's helped you. But lots of love from the East Coast here, man. And hopefully,
thanks, man.
We'll chat. I'm sure very, very soon. But hopefully we'll get you on a card. Stay soon.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. There you go, guys. Bryce Gougeon. I'm having trouble with my words tonight, folks. It's been like 10 days since I've done a podcast. I'm not spitting them out right. They're coming out like one word off at a time. But, what can you do? CTV is not calling just yet. Anyway, folks, that's episode 87 brought to you by our friends at Maritime Madness. Check them out at maritimemadness.com. Use the code FLA10. Save 10%, get free shipping anywhere in Canada, over $35, over 30 different sauces to choose from. Get sauced today. How was that? That was pretty good. Good job, Derek. All right, folks, episode 87 in the books. We'll be back tomorrow night with episode 88. We have 3 or 4 episodes lined up this week. And we have the female roundtable, the takeover Sunday night, hosted by Christine Royal Fader. Sunday night should be interesting, hosting it with a few of the girls from the maritime scene in the community, which should really excited about that one. So anyway, we'll catch up with you then, folks. Thanks for tuning in. As always, subscribe on the YouTube pages, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you get your beautiful podcasts. Enjoy listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you can be anything in this world, be kind. Peace. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button and make sure to check out our apparel page, on sale now until July 13th. As always, thanks to our friends. We'll see you tomorrow.